Please note that the content of this episode has explicit language and is not suitable for underage listeners. Hi, I'm CJ, and I've done phone sex for 23 years. Let's get started. So the topic today, or one of the topics today, I think I'm going to talk about more than one thing, but I'm not sure where this is going to go, so just follow along, is something that is taboo, somewhat taboo, not talked about too much. I talk about this a lot on the phone. That's why I'm bringing it up here. But when it comes right down to it, people really don't talk about this. So I figure I will start the conversation. Before I start the conversation, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So when the podcast is over, if you'd reach out to me and let me know your thoughts, that'd be great. Your experiences, your thoughts, all that stuff, that'd be wonderful. So today's topic, the first topic, is the butt. You heard me right. I know you're already squirming, and let me tell you about that part of your anatomy, your tush. I know people that listen that know me, so you can log off now. You may not want to hear this. I'm going to tell you something from personal experience and then roll into phone calls. So, long time ago, I was with a guy, and he wanted me to play with his butt. Now, I had already started doing phone work, so I was familiar with men wanting that, at least on the phone. And so this particular person wanted me to play with his butt. I won't go into detail what I did, but he loved it. He was the dominant one in the relationship, but yet this act rendered him somewhat submissive. And he really enjoyed that. And to some extent, there was some satisfaction on my part. You know how that is. You're with your partner, you do something that they like, and you get satisfaction of knowing that you're pleasing them, and vice versa. So let me tell you what men really like, but don't want to tell you. And that is, I have many, several, a bunch, whatever the word is, a bunch of callers who want their butts played with, whether it is with a finger or fingers or a tongue or a toy, whatever the case may be, they want their butt played with. Now, I understand there is a cleanliness factor here, and of course, the person should be clean, so let's assume that that is the case. The idea is to give each other pleasure. So much like a woman liking a man going down on her, men like getting blowjobs. We know that. But to intensify that feeling, if you play with a man's ass, it really does intensify it even more, and it makes their orgasm much stronger. I mean, there's a lot of things that make a man's orgasm stronger, of course, but we're talking about the butt, right? You have to wrap your head around that. If your man wants that, if he has the nerve to tell you that he wants that, that's a whole other story. So my callers have called saying their girlfriends or wives won't do it. So they've bought butt plugs or vibrators or any kind of toy. They can do it themselves on the phone with a phone actress because the phone actress won't judge them like their partner may judge them. They really like the feeling of being full. There are nerve endings in your butt that stimulate so that it gets them harder. Some of the men have even said that they have made deals with their significant others saying if they can do the back door of their significant other, then the woman could do it to them. Some women fall for that trick and some don't, but it's worth a shot. So most men find this act to be gay. If you say, hey, I want to play with your ass, if you're the one approaching them, they're going to go, oh, no, I can't do that. But not all men think that way. At first, the knee-jerk reaction is, I don't do that. But really, you don't do that? You've never thought about that? And some men haven't. I always say it's not every man. It's never every man or every woman. But I've talked to a lot, and they love it, and they want it. Sex is all about feeling good, and that's what these guys want. They want to feel good. They want you to have them, make them feel good. Like you want them to make you feel good. What I want to talk about is that men really enjoy this. And when I say really, they really do. And so there's some guys that haven't had it done yet. To them, they don't know what they're missing. You have no idea the pleasure it gives these men. It is out of this world. Many people won't admit that they like it. Many people won't admit it to their significant other that they want it. And that goes along with my conversation about being truthful and telling your partner what you like. So words of wisdom to you women out there, if you want to please your man, besides being an expert at blowjobs or titty fucking or whatever you're an expert at and so good, see what happens when you bring it up. See what happens if you just try it. It might take a little while, but it'll be worth it. Whatever the case may be. The thing is something that they've thought about, they've done it, they've fantasized about it, whatever it is, because men that I talk to love it. Believe it or not, I do talk to the everyday man, so I strongly encourage women to play with your man's butt. He will thank you for it. He may not at first, he may be a little squeamish or shy if he hasn't thought about it, but he might go, oh, you're open to this. And that will make him very happy because he's thought about it. Trust me, he has thought about it. And he's thought about it not with another man, but with you or himself. I'm just letting you know that. So keep an open mind and have some fun. I always say have fun with it, right? Have fun with it. On a similar topic, but not really, I mentioned it here about toys and men. Men do like toys. It's not just for women. And men don't just like toys to play with their women. They like it for themselves. So along with vibrators that women use, men do too. Men use butt plugs and they use vibrators to rub on their cocks. And I can't tell you how many calls I've had where I hear something and I'm like, what's that? And they tell me it's their toy and they're using it. And again, it isn't them being gay. It's them enjoying rubbing it on their dick or their butt or whatever. It feels good. Toys were not just meant for women or gay men. They are meant for anyone. And I talk to a lot of men who like to use them. And I've had men use toys that sound like jackhammers, much louder and much harder and much faster than mine. So I think that's kind of funny. So don't be shy if a man wants to use a toy on him, on you, on both. Anyway, there you go. So that brings up a call I had the other day about a caller who wanted to know if I had a toy. And I always keep one close by because someone will say, let me hear it. You know, they don't believe me. And so I turn it on and they heard it and that was great. And he goes, mine's louder than yours, just like what I said. And his, like I said, sounded like a jackhammer. And I asked him where he was using it. And he said he was rubbing it all over himself. He puts it on his nipples and all over. And his ex-girlfriend didn't understand why he needed a toy when he had her. And he said it just feels good, like when you rub yourself with it. And she just couldn't get her head around a guy wanting a toy. And he believes that's what broke them up, that he wanted to use a toy. And he didn't want to use it all the time. That is no fun. He was pretty upset by the whole thing, but he wasn't going to give up his toy for her. And think that's what he was alluding to, that she was asking him to do that. He asked my opinion, and I said, well, it's like earrings. Guys wear earrings like women wear earrings. So why can't guys play with toys like women can play with a toy? I mean, who's to say what's right or what's wrong? You just have to do what feels good. It's equal opportunity as far as I'm concerned. Why not? What's right for you and right for someone else. There is no such thing as a right or wrong answer or a right or wrong thing to do. It's whatever works for you. So he wanted to talk about his toy and how much he loved it. And if he can't be with a woman, he wanted to have this toy. And he had another one and he had something that mimicked a blowjob. And I said, I'd heard about those toys. And he said, it's not quite as good as a person's mouth, of course, but it'll do. And I said, yeah, I know about those things. There's all sorts of kind of suction toys. If you're alone, play with a bunch of toys. Someone a long time ago told me that they had a blow-up doll. This was probably 15 years ago. And I had mentioned to them the real doll, which at the time I think was $5,000. And it was, this big doll that comes to your house in a crate and you can make her up, any hair color you like, the eye color, the size boobs you want, everything. That's a big expense. How I feel. As long as it's not hurting anyone, why not, right? So if you want a real doll, if you want a blow-up doll, if you want toys, doesn't matter as long as you're enjoying yourself and you're not hurting anyone. So if you have toys, you can play with it anywhere on your body like a woman, but men can do the same thing and derive pleasure from that. If a man or woman is with someone that's judgmental, then you have to decide if it's worth losing somebody for or giving up that pleasure. And back to the butt, right? I'm going to go back to that butt thing where the butt is something to be played with, and women don't like being fucked up in the ass. Excuse me, sorry. That's very crude. But women don't like being fucked in the ass all the time. It's painful. Guy's big, he's thrusting. That's different than having a tongue up in your butt or even a finger. So you might want to change your way of thinking about fucking a woman in the ass if she doesn't like it. Maybe use something else and use your cock for her pussy or her tits or whatever else it is. Just saying, we've had that conversation on the phone too. Guys have asked me. So both of these conversations are food for thought. I think that there's some merit to both, and there's no reason to make fun or ridicule anyone for feeling and having desires for anything. Of course, as long as it's legal, right? I always have to throw that in there. As long as it's legal, we're good to go. So as long as it's legal and fun, have at it. Have a good time. Play with a guy's butt, buy some toys, have some fun. You're two consenting adults. Why the hell not? And if your friends don't need to know what you do in private. You don't have to tell them everything unless they ask, of course, and then that's up to you. But, there's a lot of things in life that we do not talk about because we are too shy. We don't talk about all sorts of things. And I think it's time that there is a conversation about what people enjoy in bed, sexually, out of bed, whatever. Playing with an ass, playing with toys are a couple of things that they go hand in hand, and have some fun out there. I want to mention one more thing. I had a call, a couple weeks ago. I was talking about cuckolding, It always goes back to that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I had a caller who wanted to talk to me about a situation that he's in and he's going to be in and wanted my help. And so he said his girlfriend made him a cuck, cuckold. Okay. And I asked him what happened. And he said, well, I'm small. That's no surprise, right? I mean, there's no cuckold telling me he's huge. I got to tell you that. The guy that she's seeing is bigger. Of course. Okay. Again, none of this is a surprise. But then she wanted him to get involved with her and the guy. And he was very hesitant. And he's telling me this. He's kind of getting quiet. And he said that he needed my help. I said, well, what does she want you to do? And again, he was quiet, hesitant. And he said, well, she wants me to suck him or lick him with her, and said he didn't want to, but he kind of did. So I said, well, what you could do is shut your eyes and she could grab a hold of him and put him to your lips. And he said, no, I don't like that. I said, but if you want to assist with this and you're not into it, is there an alternative way? And he said, no. I said, then I don't think that you can be a part of this, but he wanted to. So I said, okay, let's practice. Close your eyes. Okay. And I said, I grab a hold of him and I put it to your lips. And he said, nope, I can't do that. I said, you're just imagining it. And he said, nope, I can't do that. And I said, well, then you're going to have a problem with this scenario. And he said, yes, I know. And he hung up on me. The reality was too much for him. And so I believe he's going to change his mind about being in this relationship, at least the type of relationship she wants. I keep saying relationships are complicated, and if you share with your partner what you want, you really have to know if you're on board or not. You can try it and see if it works for you. These men know what they want or think they know what they want until it happens, and some people go with it and love it, and some people don't. A lot of these cuckolds are very, I don't know what the word is, they're kind of hesitant. They are very happy with the person they're with, but they don't like the situation they've been put in. As a cuckold, they're small. They want to be with this woman. She wants to be with a bigger man. It's a very complicated relationship. I think that's probably the most complicated relationship out there right now. So you really have to decide if that is for you. I will say this for the next few weeks. I want to wish everyone a happy holiday, whatever your holiday is, and a wonderful new year. I plan on taking a couple of weeks off. We'll see. I might be here next week, so just keep looking for me. It'll either be an encore presentation or a new one. So have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. That's all for now. Thank you for listening to Secrets from a Phone Sex Queen. Everything you always wanted to know about phone sex and more, please reach out to me. Keep those questions coming and your comments. I love your comments. You guys are funny. So send them to phonesexqueen1@gmail.com. New episodes drop every Monday. Check me out on Facebook at CJ's Podcast and Instagram and TikTok at PhoneQueen1. If you're listening on YouTube, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when a new podcast is dropped. I appreciate every single one of you, and until next time, stay sexy.